What's this? Support like a bird build, huh? Okay, I think I get the idea.
I got your picture, I'm coming with you, dear Maria, come in.
After that beautiful song, we have a few things to talk about, of course. So I am trying to do a kind of bird build based on the comment I received on a previous video, and we're gonna talk about that. So hopefully this kind of lives up to the expectation. It was an interesting thing to kind of build around, because when I think bird, I'm thinking buffs and I'm thinking damage. There's not too many buffs that are inherently, you know, something you want to use during combat. Normally a lot of the buffs you see you use beforehand, and then you know, do all your normal rotation stuff. So I went more of the kind of healing route with this. You know, obviously the biggest buff to an ally is keeping them alive so they can do more damage. So my thought process was, well, if I can keep everyone topped off 24/7, that should solve that issue right there, right? So we went with the legendary enchant Righteous Zealot. Your damaging abilities have a chance to smite your target, dealing additional holy damage and healing nearby party members for a small amount. This effect scales with your smite ability. Damage reduced by 80% against players. This effect cannot occur more than once every 4.5 seconds. So this applying on every ability is fantastic. We're getting a lot of free healing. We're getting even more free damage from this ability. It's been great. On the epic enchant side of things, I do have Emanating Light. Your consecration is transformed into Consecration Emanate, following you as you move. Dealing damage with this spell increases your holy damage done and reduces the physical damage taken by 1% for 3 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Now, this ability by itself is not super interesting for us. I mean, increasing holy damage done is good, I guess, but then we're sacrificing our range to get a melee range, so this actually works. We got this mainly for the following epic enchant. Holy Ground. Your consecration can now heal allies. Does not trigger other stuff, but we don't care about that. We care about the healing allies. So now this consecration that's going to be following us wherever we go is also going to be healing allies around us wherever we go. And that's going to synergize with other abilities we picked up, such as Holy Nova. Just Holy Nova's great AoE damage. It's also a lot of healing inherently. And again, combined with that kind of AoE-ish smite we got on the legendary ability, that's a lot of healing already. Lastly, I picked up Bountiful Holy Wrath. Your Holy Wrath is transformed into Holy Wrath, Bountiful Holy Wrath. Little repetitive, but we'll keep with it. Allowing it to strike an extra time when hitting more than one enemy, dealing 20% of the original cast. So this is another just great epic enchant for AoE damage. Really no reason not to pick it up when you're running a holy build, at least in my eyes. I mean, the damage speaks for itself, really. Now, the talent tree is going to be the more interesting side of things here. So we're just going to go left to right. Now, I do want to mention this is not a part one of anything. I feel like I can kind of summarize this in one build. I was happy to do it. But just because I already had a healing character, I already had an idea right off the bat, I didn't want to bog this production down with leveling a new character. So just wanted to get it all out there, let it all hang out, so to speak. In the balance tree, we picked up Thorns. Now, even though I don't want to be buffing mid-fight, I do still want to pick up a lot of buffs, or at least a few buffs, so I can really live that Bard lifestyle. I also have the Innervate. This is a great ability to help with mana. Of course, when we're using a bunch of Holy Novas, when we're using all these spells, it costs a lot of mana. So we need a lot of mana, so that's why we got to Innervate. Now, we also picked up Dream State, regenerating mana equal to 10% of your intellect every 5 seconds while casting. Also increases your spell critical strike chance by 3%. And the base mana granted by your Innervate by an additional 75%. So we're getting more critical strike, we're getting more mana regen, and we're getting more mana through we're getting through more mana through Invenerate. So a really good combination of text there. That's all going to be beneficial to us. In the Restoration tree, the only thing we picked up is Mark of the Wild. Again, just another buff to have. In the Hunter tree, we picked up 2 abilities that should hopefully help us last a little longer, so getting targeted. I would imagine we're generating a lot of aggro when we have things like Holy Nova healing, Consecration healing, Smite healing. It's a lot. So we picked up Deterrence, and we also picked up Feigned Death. Both spells I actually just talked about in the previous video, so I'm not going to go in detail with them. Now, in the Mage tree, mainly Arcane, or only Arcane, we picked up things like Conjured Water, Arcane Intellect, Slow Fall. Again, just more kind of buffy things we can benefit the dungeon group with. Slow Fall, I honestly just had the extra ability essence, so, you know, whatever. Then we got Evocation, another thing just for mana. And then we got Mage Armor. So again, another mana thing. We needed an armor, and none of them were really super useful. I could have went with something like Molten Armor, which I'll talk about really quickly. This is going to be increasing our critical strike rating by our spirit. We are stacking a lot of spirit, so maybe this could even be better than Mage Armor. I'm always super paranoid about mana. I would rather know I'm going to be good on mana than damage. So I went with the Mage Armor, but Molten Armor is also very suitable to swap out here. Now, in the talents themselves, we did get the Student of Mind. Increasing our total spirit isn't anything crazy, but your spell damage is increased by 15% of your spirit is a little more impressive. And then with that, we also got Arcane Mind. Increases your total intellect by 7%. Also, your spells and abilities deal 2% more magic damage, but cost 4% more mana. This is another one I would even consider maxing out. I just didn't really want to swap anything out to pick this up. But it's a great ability. It's a lot of free damage pretty much at the cost of additional mana, of course. Then in Mind Mastery, we have increased spell damage by 9% of your total intellect and reduces the mana cost of all spells by 6%. So again, kind of taking away that mana cost from Student of Mind, or not Student of Mind, from Arcane Mind we just talked about. It's also going to be giving us even more spell damage. So just, again, really great ability, really no reason not to pick it up. And the Holy, we of course needed Holy Wrath, which we talked about in Consecration. Additionally, we picked up Holy Guidance. So this is going to increase our healing spell power and holy spell power by 12% of our total intellect. As a capstone bonus, our Holy Shocks now also make your target susceptible to spell criticals, increasing enemies' chance to be critically struck by spells or allies and chance to be critically healed by 5% for 20 seconds. So obviously we picked up Holy Shock for this ability, but we already wanted this ability, so the Holy Shock is really just kind of the icing on the cake here. Holy Shock itself is a great ability. I probably wanted to pick this up anyway. But with that extra capstone bonus we get from Holy Guidance, it really kind of pulls the build together on the single target front. Then we have Purifying Power. It's going to be reducing the mana cost of Holy Wrath and Consecration spells by 30% and reduces the cooldown of Holy Wrath and increases the damage dealt by Holy Wrath and Consecration. So a lot of good things there, especially for Holy Wrath. Our main AoE damage, so no reason not to pick that up. Then we have Holy Power, just a flat holy spell power increase, along with Divine Intellect, increasing our total intellect and increasing the critical strike chance of our holy spells and abilities. Again, another no-brainer. In Protection Tree, I got Blessing of Kings. It's my favorite blessing by far, only, you know, substitutable by Blessing of Wisdom, but I think in this case, Blessing of Kings is going to be more useful for the team. And then in the Retribution Tree, I got something a little interesting named Seal of Vengeance. It may not make a lot of sense right now, but it'll make a lot of sense in a minute. So give me a moment. I'll come back to that. We got Retribution Aura. I just wanted an aura to say I had an aura because I'm a bard and I do buffs. You could swap this out with Devotion Aura as well, as long as you have something that's benefiting the team. Then I have Judgment of Wisdom. Again, doesn't make sense, but we'll talk about it in a second. and then Avenging Wrath because all our damage is holy, so we want more holy damage. It's also going to be giving us more holy healing, which is great. Now, so Improved Judgment is a interesting ability. It's going to be decreasing the cooldown of our judgment spells by 3 seconds. The capstone bonus, however, Smite and Holy Fire can trigger your active seal for 10 seconds after using Judgment. Now again, we don't just have Smite the ability, we have Smite from the legendary enchant. That means our Smite is basically an AoE ability. It is great. It is going to be using this seal a lot, so I got it. It should be great, and it has been great from what I've seen. Now, Seal of Vengeance itself is a pretty good ability. It's one of my favorite seals, I say reluctantly, because I don't think any of the seals are particularly interesting. But if I had to pick a seal for damage, it would probably be Vengeance. Then for Vindication, gives your holy spells and paladin melee abilities a 50% chance to reduce the target's attack power by 312 for 10 seconds. So another kind of bird thing, we're sacrificing some of our damage with spending talents on this, but we are going to be helping the team by making the tank and anyone else taking melee attacks take less damage. The capstone is your holy attack power and holy spell damage is increased whenever you deal holy damage to a target afflicted by Vindication. Again, this spell is still increasing our overall damage. Maybe not as some of the other options we could have picked, but again, comparatively, when we're going a bird build, I think this was a great pickup. In the priest tree, we have Discipline first. Twin Disciplines increasing the damage and healing done by our holy spells by 5% and increases the critical strike chance of our holy spells and abilities. Meditation, allowing some of that mana regen to continue while casting. And your spell critical strike rating is increased by 15% of your spirit. Whoa, more talents that give us benefits from stacking spirit. Who would have guessed it? And then Enlightenment, which is not exciting. It's just a stat buff across the board. It's good. It's just not exciting. Then in Holy, of course, we got Smite because we need it for the legendary ability. We got Flash Heal, so we have an actual heal. We got Resurrection, so we have a revive. Again, things I think a support class would all want. Holy Nova. Holy Nova is great. I already talked about it. I don't need to talk about it again, but it's great. We all know it's great. It's great. Come on. In the Holy Specialization talent, you get more critical strike chance from your holy spells. So again, we have a lot of inherent crit with the talents we decided to pick. So more of that critical strike damage is going to be very useful. Then we just have something to reduce the cast time of Smite. Not very much. Mind you, this is probably one of the weakest talents I have, so maybe you don't even need to pick this up. I picked it up, but That was a good explanation, huh? And then Searing Light, increasing the damage of some of our spells. Again, nothing groundbreaking here, just, flat damage increases. Surge of Light is probably the most interesting ability we have in the Holy Tree. Your direct damage and healing spell criticals have a 50% chance to cause your next Smite or Flash Heal spell to be instant cast and cost no mana, and deal 60% more damage to monsters but can't crit. So you're going to notice I get this proc a lot during combat. This is a great thing to pick up, especially if you're going a build to where you have a lot of healing or even a lot of damage and you have a Smite. I mean, this also triggers off damaging abilities, not just healing spell crits. So the Shadow Tree, we decided to pick up Spirit Tap. Another one of the weaker ones. It is going to be giving us more Spirit, which is, again, kind of as a throwback to some of our other talent points. More Spirit means more spell crit, means more spell damage. So it's not that it's doing nothing. It's just not doing a lot, in my opinion. It could be doing a lot. I just don't like the talent point, if I'm honest. I wish there was more things that gave me a direct benefit to holy spells, but we got Spirit Tap. We're going Spirit. It's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Don't look too much into it. It's fine. Then we have Call of Elements. It's not worth talking about by itself, but we'll talk about the totems in a second. Then we have Raise. Again, more spell critical strike chance. enhancement. The totems I decided to pick up, and this could change, is Stone Skin Totem, Wrath of Air Totem, and in the Restoration tree, the only thing I have in here is Mana Spring Totem. I didn't want to invest too heavily in any of the damage totems, so that's why I don't have a fire. Mana Spring seems a lot more useful than Healing Stream, just because I think Healing Stream sucks. I don't know if Mana Spring is much better, but I don't like Healing Stream. Just a personal thing, I'm sorry. And then with Stone Skin, I mean, again, there's not a lot of great earth totems. I didn't want to spend the ability essence to have a 5-minute cooldown with the elementals, fire or earth, so I didn't pick them up. But they may be better. The most useful totem here is the Wrath of Air Totem. You could probably switch this out with Wind Fury as well, depending on your group makeup. But because we're a caster, I definitely want to see use from this sometimes, so I got the Spell Haste. The final thing oh, Bloodlust. We got Bloodlust. Hey, Bloodlust. I mean, everyone should have Bloodlust at some point in their career. That's my opinion. And if you disagree with my opinion, you happen to be wrong, but that, you know, neither here nor there. In the Warlock tree, we got Life Tap, another mana thing. But that's going to be it. I'm really happy with this build. This is kind of one of the more interesting builds, at least in my opinion. It has a lot of damage. As you can see from the numbers, I'm healing a lot too. Now keep in mind, a lot of our healing is just going to be natural AoE. We're probably overhealing a shit ton. And when I say probably, I mean we're definitely overhealing a shit ton. But I feel like this is a very good basis for a build. There's other things you can do with this. If you want to go a melee build, you can easily swap some talents around to make this kind of a melee holy healy paladin build. When I initially thought Bard, I was thinking Bard from the Final Fantasy MMORPG, and I just wasn't able to make that work. I think they're just a bit different with how the game generally functions, again, surrounding buffs. But maybe I'll revisit this again. Maybe there will be a part 2. Not gonna do it right now for sure. I'm happy how it is, but definitely let me know what you think. Again, if you like the concept of a Barret build, let me know. If you think I did it wrong and I should redo it or something, I don't know what I would even redo, but if you think I need to, let me know, and have a great day.